Alright guys, let's see, let's take a look at some of these stocks real quick. Make sure I got everybody synced up here. Threw the link in a couple of the other chats so we have it. Put it on Facebook too, everybody's welcome. This is not ethical trading specific, just if you're new. This is for anyone and everyone that wants to kind of do some TA, look at some charts, especially on some of these things that some of us have been trading, whether you're in the discords of any of the 3 or 4 I'm in or not, doesn't matter. I know a lot of these stocks and tickers we're trading are also the same ones that are being traded by a lot of the other people on Facebook and Twitter. So that being said, gonna dive in. Shout out, it looks like Net Righteous is out here taking the live stream from President George Bush Turnpike. So you have fun in the gridlock too. Luckily I don't have to drive that commute anymore, but it was not fun. I still do have to take it when I go to the WeWork, which oddly enough, you know, that's where I see a lot of the Lucid Motors vehicles, and we're going to start riding on Lucid because it flew this morning. We were in both shares and calls that just ripped, absolutely. Definitely I'll look at Riot for you too, Matt. If there's any other tickers people do want to see, feel free to throw them in either of the lounge channels. I forget how renamed the lounge to. Yeah, it's still VIP lounge over there too on the other Discord. Cool. Or in the YouTube chat, either one. I will take a look at some of these charts for y'all. But yeah, Lucid had this really sweet setup going on. I've been watching it for a while. For one, I like Lucid. I think that there is a lot more to Lucid than what people seem to realize. Plus, I've seen a growing presence with their vehicles over in the North Dallas Frisco area. So we got in based off the downtrend break here for the falling wedge, as well as this inverse head shoulder setup that was going on. Entered into calls and shares, still in some of those longer term swings. I did go ahead and lock gains after selling covered calls this morning, initially with the first rejection against my shares, and then bought to close them on the first pullback, and then took the gains and netted nice little gains on the shares. But I'll definitely be re-entering some shares on Lucid once we have the confirmation of continuation here. So you can see the levels here if you want to reference those. I'm looking for probably at least a move to that 326 gap fill in the coming weeks or months. We'll see. The PIF, or the Saudi Investment Fund, there's ultimately majority of the holdings of Lucid. They have them, and they're not cutting them anytime soon because it's part of their 2030 and beyond green initiative factor. So definitely a good one. Going to be a little volatile. If volatile is not your thing, probably not the one for you to trade. That's okay too though. Going from here, I'm going to jump over as well to Palantir because I think people are freaking out and I don't understand fully because it's the same thing we've seen so many times before. Same thing as what we saw before over in this region before we got into earnings, right? So I should have probably sold some covered calls just like I did with Lucid, but I'm holding off for now because as of right now, while people are freaking out or people are yelling profit taking, I mean, if you look at this, this is actually just a retest following the breakout of that last bull flag. So we'll probably see some consolidation here and another strong bounce and upside movement. What you're seeing on quite a few tech tickers and the sympathy factor going on here with Palantir this week is uncertainty related to all the data that we have, which there's quite a bit of data coming the remainder of the week. If you're not aware, you can check on like Market Watch, or you can check on Unusual Whales to see the list and the times of the data that's being released. But yeah, Palantir still looking good here, still bullish, still upside momentum going. We go from Palantir. Matt, I'll dive into some of the crypto stocks here in a second is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through some of these non-crypto stocks because we all know once I start talking crypto that the crypto just flows. So another one that's looking good here that we're watching is Sound. So I went ahead and re-entered some calls today on the pullback when I saw the bounce at that support level. So it Sound, as you can see here, I'll zoom out, like we're in a big, massive breakout right now. Consolidation and the range is a good thing, but you can see we don't have any lingering gaps going on here in this upside movement either, so this is good. I'd love to see a little bit of consolidation here and build out a nice little bull flag again. So I think a lot of the Sound movement, the pullback you saw today, sympathy off of NVDA and the other chip stocks, but specifically NVDA. because the sympathy with the AI component is definitely playing a part of this. So watching this overall for another bull flag breakout here, looks like the measured move it'll be somewhere in the 75% range. If we do get another breakout, you can see got a lot of momentum here, and I know people think that that's unrealistic, but also look at this huge move we had here, the 30% plus single day of trade. So sound is still looking good. I think if I go back, you can see we're approaching all-time highs, but go ahead and do yourself a favor, look at the chart for sound and look at the chart for Palantir. Tell me what you see, because they're going to look really similar, and we've all seen Palantir continue to rip. So that's what's going on with sound. Rum, I'm going to look at real quick, because I entered some more calls on this finally today, because I've been patiently waiting on rum. But look at this. We've got rum. If I switch over to the weekly, this might be a little bit more clear to see. So rum actually has this nice breakout of this downtrend going on here. There's also inverse head and shoulder setup going on that we're breaking out nicely on. So as of right now, we got the breakout, then we back tested here on the weekly. You can see the back test there with the bounce. So what I would like to see here is more continuation of bullish buying volume, similar to when we had that buying volume that pushed us up there. You can see today was a little bit lower volume. A lot of that's due to the uncertainty with the data and the news this week, ultimately. So watching this, I think that also rum tends to get some sympathy movement with GME or GameStop, which also has earnings tomorrow. And I did take on some Lotto GameStop calls just to see how it shakes out tomorrow. I didn't even alert them because the risk is so high on them. So definitely keep an eye on rum here, because longer term trade, this looks like a solid setup. I think they're doing a lot of creative stuff in their space right now. So let's see, rum. I'm gonna jump over to Riot, Mara, Coin, all the crypto stocks. Let me look at Bitcoin first before we dive into those, though, because it'll help you get a bit of context. Which, this beautiful dip we saw earlier today, I was waiting for the next one because I really wanted to jump into leverage future position on it, which some of the people were kind of following along with me in Discord this weekend. This weekend was like a 24 out of 24 gain on 24 different trades for crypto leverage futures, up, down, sideways, everything else. So on this little dip earlier today when Bitcoin tagged that level, I entered a 200x long position on Bitcoin and then took profit right here. It was like a 225% gain. So definitely watch that. All you're seeing with these little dips that immediately rebuy, see the big huge volume candle? That's where you've got tax loss harvesting with crypto. It's the same thing I've been talking about and warning about for months now. XRP, I really wish people would have listened to that. Unfortunately, people kind of have to learn the hard way together, kind of like a lot of people learned with Doge back when Elon went on Saturday Night Live. So for those that aren't aware, XRP, basically everyone was hyping because the CEO had an interview on 60 Minutes last night that was aired, and everyone hyped that was going to be a major catalyst to rip it to the upside, and that's just not how these things tend to work. I'm still bullish long-term on XRP. I still maintain my long-term holdings on my cold storage wallets. That being said, should have sold the news. You could have rebought the dip if you were more of an active trader, or like at least minimally taking leverage short positions like I did. And I'm kind of kicking myself because I did make some like massive gains last night on the leverage short positions with XRP. That being said, had I stayed in it, because I traded this bear flag here. Let me show you the initial bear flag setup that was here, and the price target was 238. I knew that there was movement potential and was even talking about it in the Discord last night of going from like 260 down to 229 a single candle, because we've done it previously right over here, right there. And that's what happens when a big wallet sells off and rebuys, or sells off in general. And I went ahead and closed out my positions because I was trying to shuffle the funds around, and I'd make big gains. I don't like to leave that stuff on the exchange wallets like last night. So closed out the position. Wish I would have left it running though, because had I stayed in, this move right here, trading that setup would have been about 1,800% gains off that leverage short position. So definitely gains to be had with leverage futures. If you're not trading them, you can. I use L Bank. There is a bit more risk just because it's not a US based app or exchange, but I mean, honestly, there's not really a lot of good ways to get direct exposure to shorting crypto on the weekends without using an exchange that does stuff like that. So, you can't. The ETFs and everything are cool, I guess, for people that want to trade ETFs. But keep in mind, ETFs aren't 24/7 like crypto market is. So, you really are kind of at the mercy if you can't trade leverage positions minimally on something like LBank. And there's a referral code. If anybody wants it, let me know. I'll throw it out there so that you can use it. A lot of the other exchanges that do leverage futures require a VPN nowadays because they don't allow US based customers. So definitely something that you can keep in mind if you're long on crypto like I am and you want to hedge the short side for the time being on certain things. You can use leverage futures to do that. But what are we looking at in the big scheme of things, right? So XRP actually, as of right now, it's trying really hard to hold that up range there. And it still technically has a bull flag intact here, but when we broke down from that shorter term uptrend there, that's not a great thing for XRP. It's probably going to get some pretty significant retracement here. Don't be shocked if on XRP and some of the others you see what I talked about a while back, where the heavier the regulation starts to come into play with certain cryptos, the more those tend to be kind of hindered overall. And I say that knowing that Bitcoin itself has a lot of regulation tied with the ETFs. That being said, it's Bitcoin, so it's a bit different as compared to these other kind of spin-off exchanges, or spin-off blockchains that came into play over the years. Plus, I'm still not getting the warm and fuzzy feeling with XRP and the dev wallets having over 50% holdings right now. So keep an eye on this. If we do lose this 188 level, it's probably going to crash pretty hard down to this like 128 level potentially. So definitely something to keep in mind. Like I said, I'm not selling off my XRP. I'm staying long. But right now we're getting healthy, good retracement on a lot of crypto that's just tax loss harvesting. And that's completely and totally normal. This is a great opportunity to be adding to long positions on certain things because we're going to keep ripping on crypto into next year. It's the same thing over here with Ethereum. You can see we're trying to build out. If I look at this actually on the weekly time frame, you can see like things are still looking good, and that's actually a cup and handle. It is trying to reject, it looks like, back under that trend line, but I've mentioned on several of these live streams before kind of why you're going to see hesitation on Ethereum this go around as compared to before, now that it's proof of stake and not proof of work and doesn't have the backing of miners behind it making transactional movement volume. For those that aren't used to it, Ethereum's fees are just freaking high. The gas fees straight up. So even trading altcoins on Ethereum blockchain can be sort of a pain because you have to jump through a lot of hoops, or it costs you so much money in gas fees to try to transfer something or do a swap that it's almost not even worthwhile nowadays. So Solana is a better option if you're really wanting to mess with meme coins and stuff. You can see Solana still very much has this beautiful bullish outbreak going on here. So I'm loving the retest. Dang, I should have bought more Solana earlier today. I actually may go buy some right now here in a minute. This project, I'm not concerned at all. Solana's going to do great in 2025. 10% down, that's an easy, you know what, here, I'm going to buy some live here on my phone for active trading account. Might as well, since we're over here. So I bought some XLM too on the dip a few minutes ago. So right now is actually a really good time to snatch up some of these things on these bounces. I mean, you can tell, look at the wick, right? These are these situations where you get these massive wicks similar to right here. I don't love the XLM broke down from that bull flag, but again, we're looking for a break to the upside, especially if we see buying step in. I know that a lot of y'all know how I've been trading. I've rode through several years of crypto at this point, so like I'm kind of unfazed by all this kind of movement. But again, we're going to keep seeing good stuff for crypto into next year. I'll look at a couple more cryptos. I'm going to shift back over to some stocks for some people, because I definitely want to look at a couple for Tony, because I know Tony got kind of slammed today on a few trades that probably should have already exited on, but that's okay. We live and we learn. So Adam, again, if it can bounce and get above that 843 level, we're going to sustain and push higher. So what you're seeing on a lot of these, and I'd have to go pull the wallets. You can use something like Unusual Whales to actually track the Whales wallets for crypto, because blockchain is publicly available. So I bet if you were to go look at this, you'd see on like Atom and some of these others where some large wallets sold off, but they haven't yet rebought. Typically they will. It's just a matter of how quickly they're going to rebuy. So if you can actually get in before the whales start rebuying their positions back, because they have to actually harvest their losses on paper for tax purposes, then you can ride that move back to the upside whenever they start buying again. So great opportunity today with the pullback of the dip. Real quick, I'm going to look at a couple of these for Tony and some others, like DraftKings is one I knew dude was trying to trade. Here's my thing on DraftKings, okay, because I'm going to look at both sides of the trade and what the setup shows. So DraftKings, you've got this setup here where it had the bull flag, it attempted the breakout and it failed. You look at the daily here, you've got a break of this trend. This uptrend is now broken. I'm going to move this just slightly so that it stays right there. I'm going to lock it so it doesn't move. But if you look at DraftKings here, it broke the uptrend on Friday, it bounced, and it rejected. So that is a perfect technical move because it bounced really hard at the support level, moved back up, and you can see it perfectly rejected off that trend and that resistance level. So, I mean, if it can hold that level right here in that 42.50 range, then maybe it can push up higher. For me, that's a high, like hella high risk trade to stay in here, especially if the selling volume increases. You're going to see a sharper drop down to 39 or lower. I mean, DraftKings, I think it had a lot of hype and movement around some of the fights and stuff. You'll probably see more movement come into play closer to the Super Bowl, but as of right now, I'd be careful. It can retake and push higher, but if that selling volume picks up a bit more, it could be worse. So, let's see, what other... Let me find Tony's list. I want to make sure I don't miss anything out for him. And I'll look at Riot real quick while I'm pulling that up on the other screen. Got you, Matt. Tony, are you on here? Yeah, I'll do Rumble. And Lesser, actually, I did Rumble earlier on, but I'll look at it again. So Riot, same thing. Riot, Mara, Coin. Let me pull up my whole list of crypto tickers over here. So Riot, Mara, Coin, Hive, CleanSpark, BT, Bit Digital, Bitfarms, Hut, MicroStrategies. Y'all gotta see this because I almost got silly earlier today and bought like a really expensive call option on MicroStrategy. So I don't know if y'all saw the news this morning, but Michael Saylor, yet again, the stocks he recently sold, he bought a massive amount of more Bitcoin with it, and people are freaking out over the offering with Mara. Mara's about to take a play from the Michael Saylor playbook and go buy more Bitcoin is what that offering is all about, because they're not stupid. They've been in this for several years now. They'll do an offering and they'll maintain cash on balance sheets, and then they will go and buy more crypto. My bad, Analyzer. Turns out there's two Matts that were in there, so I'm going to say Analyzer Matt and Matt 00. I'm going to call Matt 007 James Bond going forward. He no longer will be Matt. He will be 007. So, James Bond up in the house. And, I remember my name is in the chat. Yeah. And sorry, if y'all are on the live stream, actually over here, Litecoin is hit hard, Prakash says. Let me look at that before I even look at MicroStrategy. So, that's good, because Litecoin and XRP are kind of becoming my two favorite cryptos to trade leverage futures on. Oh, hell yeah. Hold on. I gotta enter a long position on this bounce. Hold up. Real quick, I'll do this while we're live. I'll do it over here on my LB bank app. So I'm gonna go into a... Let's see, what do I want to do? 75 leveraged? Why not? I'm kind of scared to show y'all this on my screen and do it like live because y'all might freak out and think I'm straight up degen if I do this. But yeah, look, that's a beautiful technical bounce. And that buying volume is going to step back in once those wallets come into play. So I'm going to enter the Litecoin leveraged long position at 75x leveraged. That's a big position. I think I'm going to do it anyways. Let me look at it in 5 minutes. I'll show y'all kind of what I do when I've been looking at these, and then we'll shift back to stocks. But, I mean, it is a little risky for me to do it here, but I kind of want to do it anyways because I see a break of a downtrend in play here. If it loses that 102.41 support, it's probably going to dive harder, like a lot harder, but it is down like 20% at the moment. So, I know it has a lot of support in that range because that was the previous resistance, which is kind of what you have as your See, demand zone. Let me look real quick. I'd like to get a little bit lower entry on this if I can. Because the kicker with trading these leveraged futures like this is that it's a bit different than what you are used to with stock options and stuff. Because basically, if your liquidation price gets hit, you lose all your money. So it's not like, you know, stocks or options where you can kind of drag it out a little bit. I mean, you could technically have more funds in the account to try to drag out the liquidation event if it happens, but I try to not put too much in there. For one, I don't want a massive amount of money sitting on a hot exchange wallet like that, but then also if something crazy like some massive single 5 or 15-minute candle came into play that just happened to magically touch my liquidation price for a millisecond and I got triggered for liquidation, they take, you know, several $1,000s all at once, and then I watch it immediately bounce. That sucks. I've been there and done that. Some of y'all saw the screenshot of like 8 SHIB transactions, many of which were over $5,000 each, that I did that with and learned my lesson the hard way. So I don't do that. I am going to enter this long position right here though, because I'm seeing the bounce. If I get if it turns against me on the session, then y'all get to hear me kind of cry about liquidation. But I'm feeling a bounce vibe, so we're going to check back on LTC here in a little bit and see what happens. But let's see real quick. We looked at MicroStrategy, Riot, Mara. I mean, honestly, someone's wanting to go long on MicroStrategy. This isn't a bad spot whatsoever, because if you look here, it's trying to actually get its bounce on at this previous support level. I'm going to put a minor one right there, but overall, there's a little bit of an uptrend going on there too. So I don't know. I mean, MicroStrategy options are just stupid expensive, which it looks like it's trying to break that trend too. So it is dangerous. This thing's also ripped way hard over the last few months, so I wouldn't be feelings hurt whatsoever to see MicroStrategy come fill this gap at 278.72. I patiently waited because I want to buy like a lot of shares if I see that gap get filled, which also has confluence with the trend line. So if MicroStrategy does that, and sorry for all these little lines we were scalping at the other day, I'm going to delete them. But yeah, I'll definitely keep an eye on MicroStrategy here. Here's the thing with the crypto stocks. I know I told some of y'all earlier today, I don't know if y'all have noticed how it works yet, but basically, like, look, if you look at Bitcoin, what you have with crypto stocks is when there's any kind of pullback or consolidation in a zone, the crypto stocks react very violently, and then they pull back to the previous support, and then they rip stupid hard to the upside when they do it. So, like, look at Bitcoin, where everybody's freaking out right now, and we're literally just retesting a technical back test of the bull flag for more upward continuation. So like this thing is still very much bullish at this point. Hey, I'm up 30% on that Litecoin position. Bam, crypto futures for the win. So yeah, I'll have to throw the screenshot because otherwise people are gonna be like, bullshit, I promise. Some of y'all have seen me doing it all weekend, so I'm just gonna save that. I'm gonna let it ride for a minute because I think Litecoin is gonna keep on bouncing from that level here in a few minutes, and my liquidation price is way down low. So that was fun. I might have to start doing that on the actual screen so y'all can see that and do a recording, so y'all can ride that with me without having to take the risk yourself. But at any rate, sorry, Bitcoin's going to bounce and move higher here. Like I was saying earlier, it's just simply people taking tax loss harvesting and wallets, and as they rebuy, we bounce higher. So if you actually look over here at a lot of the crypto stocks, which I saw massive bullish movement on a lot of these on options today. Here, let me pull it up real quick. Give you a little crash course on some of the things I checked. So I've got a bunch of filters set up. Help if I went to the right screen. So if I go over here, I'm still here, by the way. I'm waiting to let it load for a second. Analyzer asks L Bank says to connect your dude. Like straight up, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I would not personally connect my bank account to any kind of foreign-based crypto exchange. So the easiest, probably safest, and also just simple way to go about it for you American-based people like myself is you can either buy XLM Stellar Lumen on Robinhood or Coinbase, and then transfer it over to your exchange wallet on LBank. That's what I do, and I mean, the transaction fees are stupid low on XLM, so like I'll take crypto or I'll take gains off of Robinhood, and I'll buy XLM and I'll transfer that over to LBank if I'm gonna trade futures with it, or I will transfer it over to any of the crypto exchanges I exchange on, and I will buy crypto and I'll transfer to cold storage wallets. So that's what I normally would do. I mean, usually any kind of exchanges, the easiest thing to do is not to buy actively directly on those exchanges, but rather just buy on the simplest platform you can. And while Robinhood fees are a little bit higher, it's not that big of a deal on XLM. And if you're trying to trade futures like I'm doing, then I mean, I don't really give a crap if I am taking like a 1% fluctuation on XLM whenever I'm making like 300% per day on the futures trading I'm doing over there. So I will say definitely keep it very, very, very small if you do trading leverage futures on crypto. Don't learn the hard way like I did. Use my mistakes to not have to experience that as well, where I went too heavy early on, hit like liquidation price and lost a lot of money. But I learned my lesson now. As y'all saw this weekend, I've gotten pretty good at the leverage crypto future thing. So I prefer to kind of take the hit, take the gains, win the gains, go on to the next trade. I don't sit in the position super long. I know Tia and some other people this weekend were kind of riding them out. And like I said, I could have made like 1900% gains had I stayed in the XRP position. But I kind of have a rule for myself now when it comes to leverage futures that I typically won't sleep while like I'm in a position. Like I won't stay in the position overnight. I will lock my positions before I go to sleep, because those SHIB positions that burned me a few times, several of them were just random one-off candles that tagged in the middle of the night while I was sleeping, and then I woke up and I was like, damn, I just got liquidated for $8,000. That sucks. So I definitely wouldn't recommend doing anything big and crazy. But yeah, if I look over here on this screener, for instance, what I was going to show y'all is there's quite a bit of bullish coin flows that came in today. I'd also noticed quite a few. I look at one of these other screeners. There was quite a few Mara calls that were bullish in nature, because they're bought at the ask is kind of the indication for where that. I don't know why this is taking so long to load, so I apologize for that. But if you're overwhelmed looking at this, I'm sorry. It makes more sense once you've used it for a while. And I'm using this as a kind of default filter and tweaking it a bit because it's a lot faster and easier than me trying to pull the exact one for y'all. But if I look over here, I don't want the ETFs and indices. They just make it confusing and kind of overwhelming to look at, to be honest. So, where are they? I know I saw them earlier today. I just don't remember what my filter criteria was at the time. Oh. Here, I'll just show you this. Do it this way. Yeah, I've got a few screeners out there. In case it wasn't obvious. I do want to turn off ETFs and stuff though, because honestly, the contract premiums just don't really make sense right now for me to be trading leverage futures. But like if I look over at Mara, see you got a nice little mix going on here. So like these calls, when you got multiple like that, that's a spread. Somebody's in a spread position on that, so you can't read too hard into those. What I do want to show, just so that it makes a little bit more sense, I'm gonna hide this. I'm gonna go single leg only. Take a look and see what we see. So you can see here, premium wise, I mean, that's a big order for a put, which was a bearish on that position. So they're expecting upside on the underlying, but then look at all of the bullish flows on calls. If I go over here and I look at Riot, similar to those Coinbase ones we saw a few minutes ago. Oh man, I wish I could show y'all this Litecoin position, because I locked part of it and left the rest, and y'all could see how it's negative 57% right now, and you could ride through the experience of crypto futures on it. which I'm really not stressed about because as long as it's above that support level, it's fine. I'll route them from this level, and there's enough money in that account right now that it's not going to get liquidated, I don't think. If it gets liquidated, it gets liquidated. That's why I don't keep a whole lot of money in that account. But yeah, right now you can see these calls here. So that's a $12 call. That's bullish. I would like to push these out, though. I think that's why. So here, let's go 4 days. I'll just straight up show you this other screener. Sorry if this is something that some of y'all don't want to see. I know there's a few people have been asking about this, so I want to make sure and show it. And then we'll look at a few more charts, but let's see, like this, BitX call, that's bullish. What else we got in here? We got some wolf. I saw that moving earlier today. Lots of wolf, lots of wolf, lots of tail wolf. Wolf looking. I kind of want to re-enter wolf because we traded it well last week. So, oh yeah, it's still in this bullish pennant, and it's tagging a support level. Ooh, I want to go add to wolf position. Yep, I'm adding to wolf calls tomorrow. Somebody remind me to add to wolf calls tomorrow. I definitely want to add to that position here on that retest. And I probably will do it on my small account challenge account as well. That setup's looking nice. And then if you look at the weekly, I mean, the potential breakout here on wolf is going to be nuts. So yeah, I dig that. And the buying volume was increasing as well. The weekly, don't worry too much about that. But Matt, how long do you think this dip will last on crypto? Probably about as long as any of the other dips lasted on crypto the last 3 to 4 weeks. So if I had to guess, the dip's gone and the next day, and everybody will be like, damn, I wish I would have bought on the dip, kind of like they did the last few times. I mean, look, Bitcoin's already bounced back above that next support level. Dang, I should have wrote out my long Bitcoin call earlier when I entered on that first dip. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised, especially if the wallets, like I was saying, they're tax loss harvesting at this point. So the buy high on certain wallets, they're actively monitored and that they report to the IRS. Not that I would know anything about this. I've just been in crypto for a few years, and reminder, I don't take capital gains taxes on securities because they're offset with, yeah, you throw that funny laughing meme, Matt. I'm sorry, 007 is now what we will refer to you as. So I don't take capital gains taxes. Oh, you're saying all in? No, Matt, 007, no, do not all in on crypto like me. But you know, like I'm a crypto degenerate. I can't help it. Plus, like, these little dips like this don't even faze me at this point. 2018, 2019 was a dip. This is like we're still riding the uptrend at this point. So definitely looking for the big bounce here. Like I was saying, like, as you have the wallet sell off for tax loss harvesting, because there is no wash sell rule with crypto, they basically will sell after buying at the higher price, and then they will immediately rebuy. And at that point, once they've sold, they've already secured the loss on paper. There's no wash sell rule with crypto. So you can rebuy, and that doesn't like influence your cost basis or anything like that. And then you ride, right? So let's say that someone was to take a huge loss on a crypto paper loss on a monitored wallet that needs to be reported for tax purposes. That person could also offset X amount of dollars for short-term capital gains on securities. For clarification, not financial advice. I'm not an accountant. I'm not an investment advisor or any of that crap. I'm just saying that there's some loopholes when it comes to crypto and some taxes for stock market. So take that with a grain of salt or do what you want with it, but don't be shocked when Bitcoin and all these others rips here in a little bit and moves higher, just like it did all the previous times that we ripped. I mean, like, crypto's not over with by any means here. So same thing there. We got that big huge bounce. Same thing there, big huge bounce. That one was a little bit slow, but that one right there was a good example of kind of what you're going to experience now. And I guess I've just come to expect it as you get closer to the end of the year, because people have to get those losses on record in the next couple of weeks so that they can actually, you know, negate those capital gains. So great opportunity for entry on longs on crypto. Also great opportunity. Oh, look, my Litecoin position is now green again. So there you go. Positive 42% to negative 63% to now we're positive 15% again. So If you're not comfortable with leverage, or I'm sorry, we're positive 35% now. There we go. If you're not comfortable with volatility, stay the hell away from crypto leverage futures because they are not for you. I will tell you that straight up. So yeah, sorry, Bitcoin. Answer your question, 007 there. We're bouncing now. Even if we get another little sell that somebody needs to take some more losses, expect it to get bought right up. Because right now everybody's reading the writing on the wall. They know that next year's going to be bullish. The cycle overall for crypto is very much still flowing. So I wish I had on this thing a screenshot of that psychological chart that I was showing before. I guess I could look it up. Market. I'll show you real quick because it'll be good to look at this on Bitcoin to understand how it correlates. But oh no, I don't want to open the actual thing. I want to open the image so that y'all can actually see it a bit better. There, it's a little bit bigger. Hopefully that helps. But all right, so like right now, you are here. You are in the belief zone. We are not even in thrill or euphoria or any of that yet. We are in the belief zone. And I say that as someone that's been in crypto since 2017 that's been through multiple of these waves now. So we are in the belief zone here. You got consolidation. And what's real trippy is if you look at this, even though this is like not supposed to be a like one-for-one match to anything, if you go look at Bitcoin and you look at this setup right now, I'm going to remove these drawings for a second. So breakout, initial breakout, we're cupping, we're going on the handle rod. Look familiar? Breakout, initial breakout, we're cupping, we're going on the initial rod. Right there, bam. So like that is like one for one pretty much what's going on right now. So you'll get some consolidation in this zone, which if you actually look, we're starting to build out consolidation just like we did here for this handle. Notice how we've got multiple weeks going there. If you look at it on the daily, you can see that consolidation a bit more. So notice that consolidation right there in the belief zone heading into before we get through. So now my Litecoin position's up 46%. There we go. This is where the party gets started, and keep in mind we have not even really got cranking on alt season yet. Like Bitcoin is cool and all, I love my Bitcoin, it's still my staple holding for my crypto holdings, but like when alt season hits, you're gonna have a bunch of crypto that goes freaking nuts. That's like multiple hundreds of % gains within days. So definitely keep in mind, like Matic right now, excellent adding point for a long position on Matic. If I draw my lines again, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. So backtest, retest here, and a lot of these types of cryptos like Matic, Algo, Solana, all those alt chains that are not Bitcoin, they're going to be where you see the money when Bitcoin dominance starts to drop. Like look, Matic's over here already bouncing at that key support level. I ought to go buy some Matic too. My position's not big enough on Matic. I have to add them looking. Same thing. Like these wicks are like the red flag for those of us that have been in crypto for years. Like we're bouncing off these levels and they're immediately snatching it back up. And if I go look at the wallet transactional movement, same thing. So if I look at Bitcoin dominance, just to show y'all that real quick in relation to alt season, which this still cracks me up because everybody on Facebook groups for crypto that's been in for the single cycle is like, alt season is here because Bitcoin dominance dropped by X amount, and this random website out there shows the percentages change. But when you actually look at this, they wanted to look at it from a technical standpoint and say it broke trend, just like when it broke trend over here before it moved higher. If you want to really play technicals from a standpoint of this and talk Bitcoin dominance, this is a bullish pennant, that is a breakout, that is a retest of a breakout, and right here is where we now go rocket ride mode off that bounce. So consolidate, retest, bounce. So Bitcoin dominance isn't over with. My Litecoin position is now up 73%. We're ripping, guys. It's kind of fun. Y'all get to follow along and see how crazy those things trade live instead of seeing 50 screenshots dropped in the lounge. So in my opinion, Bitcoin is not done running for the cycle. So when people start talking about its alt season and they really start trying to push everybody to dump Bitcoin, it's not true alt season until you see money flows coming heavy out of Bitcoin into all the altcoins, and we haven't got there yet. We're starting to see a tiny bit of it, but it's sort of the intra-cycle movement that's going on right now. It's not the actual true big flows from one to the other like you see when you get true alt season hit. Like when we hit alt season back in Q2 of 2021, like see how here we pushed up higher. In Q1 in January 2021, we still had a little bit of trickling going on, but then once Q2 rolled in, that's when alt season hit. And you can see this massive dive on Bitcoin dominance took place because all the money flow from Bitcoin was shifting over to altcoins, and that's where the madness and the frenzy kicks in. So we still have time. Like right now is a great consolidation phase to be adding to longer term holdings on some of the altcoins. I'm not saying meme coins, just to clarify. Altcoins meaning basically anything that's not Bitcoin. And honestly, at this point, anything that's not Bitcoin or Ethereum. Because in my opinion, I don't think that we're going to see Ethereum rip the same way it did in 2021 for the reasons I mentioned before. But let me make sure and see if there's any other stocks I need to cover for people. If y'all are still hanging in with me, or if you are listening to the recording, please do hit the like and subscribe button. I'm trying to grow the channel a bit as I get new cool features and functionality if I do. So please do hit that. Little sneak peek of something else that's going on that will be available soon. Technically it's live right now, so take that with a grain of salt. Do not go out there and buy my shirts and stuff yet, y'all. Like, I'm just showing you this. Like, I should have blurred out or something this before I showed you, but I'm working on releasing a bunch of merchandise that has all of our fun, favorite crypto-related and stock-related sayings and kind of just fun stuff for us overall. So, I only have 3 of the designs out here, but I've got like 100 over here that I'm working on. So definitely going to be some cool stuff coming out here. I might have to take and put a little bit of quote going on out there for like when, you know, Matt 007 over here is throwing out his funny comments. You might make a shirt, dude. Your name and your quote might make a shirt. But just trying to have fun with it. I don't know about y'all. I like repping, like this isn't even ethical trading stuff. This is just like for all of us stock market crypto trading degens. This stuff is fun. So we've got all kinds of stuff I'm working through right now. I'll work on getting more designs published so that y'all can see them. But if you've got design ideas too, or anything specific you want to see a quote you want me to incorporate into some kind of stock or crypto designs, let me know. I'll throw it out there as well, and then you can get some shirts. But I'm gonna be, you know, surprising a bunch of family members to be like, hey, look, I got you a crypto shirt for Christmas. So it'll be fun. But yeah, I wanted to make y'all aware of that just because we're going to have fun with it. And that's what this is all about, is having fun with the friends. Otherwise, what's the point? Like, the gains are cool and all, but yeah, let me look at Intel real quick for I'm Unrivaled. Show you what I'm seeing there. Oh, can't type. So here's my thing on Intel. God, there's so many minor support and resistances in the zone. I'm not loving, like, yeah, we broke that trend, so that's definitely where I want people to be careful. Here, I'm going to do a quick pass through several tech stocks real quick, because y'all do need to see NVDA and AMD to be careful here, because I think people are still going to be trying to go long, and it could work out, or you could get burned really bad trying to do that, especially if people start dumping stocks in order to buy crypto, which is what happened in 2021 as well. Same thing as Bitcoin dominance. You'll get people dumping NVIDIA and Tesla and all these other things and go buy crypto with it. So be prepared. That's definitely something that could come to play. But right now it looks like Intel is developing a bit of a bear flag here. So definitely watch out for that, because if it breaks down from the bear flag, it's probably going to 1908. If some news comes in of a new CEO, this might catch a wicked bounce. So just keep an eye on it. I'm not saying trade anything heavy whatsoever. Just be careful with it. But let's look over here at NVIDIA real quick. Sorry, I should have probably covered all this kind of stuff at the beginning, but we went down the crypto rabbit hole. That's why I told y'all not to let me go down the crypto rabbit hole. NVIDIA, you can see here that we're actually potentially playing that breakdown. So we had the retracement. We rejected, formed lower high here after a lower low off this uptrend. So right now it might push for a gap fill. Be careful if it taps that gap fill and rejects back under that resistance. NVIDIA can head to test this trend here, so definitely keep in mind, especially if we see some selling. What I've been warning about for 2 weeks now is semiconductors and the weakness that's going on with them. So If you look here on SMH, and Matt said he feels like a movie star right now. Seriously, dude. Like, you throw a funny quote out there or something, I will slap your profile name on there on a shirt, and you can hand those out to Christmas and be like, look, I'm on a shirt. But, yeah, right now, semiconductors, there's a lot of uncertainty going on with them with the tariffs and several other things. So, like, I get being bullish, but you also got to be careful because, like, while Microsoft and a couple of others did well today, I think people are chasing calls on certain stocks, and they're going to end up getting wrecked if they don't look at each thing independently. Like Microsoft, yes, it was a good little bounce off the gap fill and upside move. Like, we like that. I didn't trade that because the cost of premiums didn't make sense compared to the other stuff I traded, which I'm glad, because yet again, some of these other things like Tiger and Lucid and several others from today that we had like 100% plus gains on, I'll take that all day with less money at risk than trying to risk, $500 plus on a single contract and gaining 20% gains. Like, it's just not worth it for me. So, definitely keep an eye on that with Microsoft if you want to watch that. AMD is one that people really got to be careful with here. If you look here on the 4 hour, AMD has got a bear flag, which is the one that I've been trying to tell people to watch. And we broke down from the bear flag. So it caught that little minor bounce at that support level. I did see some call flows for a bullish play. I didn't look to see if they closed it out before close today or not. But definitely something to keep in mind here on AMD. If it can bounce at that support zone, that's great. If not, it's heading to 121. 121.91, 122. And you can look for another bounce there. My bigger concern right now with AMD is this: that we have now rejected back into the downtrend it previously was in. So, like, there's a lot of risk going on with a lot of these semiconductor stocks right now. You gotta look at each one independently to some extent, but then take into account like what all is going on with the broader market. So, definitely watching this on AMD. I'm not saying we go venture to the lower part of this by any means, but definitely not a good spot to try to keep adding long in case it does keep doing downward breaks, because it could get painful. So let me make sure I hit these really quick so that I cover all the bases for people. Then I gotta wrap it up because I'm sure my kids are chaos in there. Broadcom has earnings this week, and I saw some call flows this morning that had me tempted. And then I saw the setup and I got real tempted. Because I saw it, like, if you look at this inverse head and shoulder setup here, like, I don't like playing earnings directly, so maybe I'll trade QQQ or something else to get a sympathy move off Broadcom, but as of right now, there was a inverse head and shoulders breakout, retest of neckline, and then it's trying to push up. So, I mean, earnings here is either going to serve as like a really positive catalyst to send this sucker higher, or it's gonna sting and it's gonna break down really hard, probably at that 136 level. So I don't know. Like, the trade setup is risky there. Like I said, I don't like to trade earnings directly because the IV crush is just not worth it for me. But I'm digging the setup, especially if it gets a breakout above that 182.89 level. That being said, I imagine that I don't know. I would really hate to try to chase that setup into earnings on Thursday and then get rejected hard and just get wrecked on it. So definitely want to be careful on Broadcom here. See, SMH, we looked at that. Google, let me look at Google real quick. Prakash, and I apologize, Prakash, if I don't say your name correctly. If I do, give me a thumbs up. The Intel is considering Apple VP for hardware as CEO. Be interesting. My take on Apple in general is they have grown and they're great from a presence due to their marketing and especially Steve Jobs' creativity with marketing. However, from a hardware standpoint, they've never been kind of outperforming and stand out from others. So I'm curious how that shakes out, if he does go over. But Google, y'all know that 167 level is kind of the key critical level I like to watch on Google. What I'll watch for here is if we get another key rejection at 176, for instance, or even 176.94, I might trade puts on Google again because it's so easy and predictable. I mean, you can see we took 380% gains right there before, so I'm gonna delete these now. We exited those, but the rejections on Google are fast and rapid. Like you can see, each time we took a hard rejection, it's so profitable for short-term trades to trade puts on Google, especially if they get some kind of random antitrust lawsuit. Like, it just dives and they rip. So definitely keep an eye on that, see if another setup presents itself. Good example of why you can trade calls and puts within the major stocks and still make great gains. So GameStop, I'm going to look at real quick. I'm probably going to have to call this thing because I'm already way past time. GameStop has earnings, okay, tomorrow afternoon. I don't care. I'm an ape. So I'm going to probably degen and hold some of my calls for GameStop through earnings, which I know we're going to get Ivy crushed to hell if it doesn't rip. So it's going to be like a pure gamble for me. I'm still tempted to buy shares for whatever reason. I do not know. But I like the setup on the weekly and daily time frame. Also, I think Ryan's got some interesting kind of ideas about the future of GameStop and how their revenue generation, where it's coming from. So definitely something that'll be worth watching to see how it shakes out. AMC just did an offering last week, so if AMC can, like, it's had a lot of selling off going into play with it. Oh, cool. Josh just said your name correctly. Yay. AMC, you know, it gets the sympathy movement with GameStop, so definitely something to keep in mind. They just did an offering, which I don't get why people get so upset about offerings for these companies, because I think a lot of people got a skewed mindset of like what the offering is a bad thing because of 2020 and 2021, but in reality, offering to pay off debt is actually very smart from a business standpoint. So I don't knock Adam Aaron at all for that. I think that's great if they can keep doing offerings and stuff and using that to pay down debt and to finance more expansion and growth for their company. That's great. That's smart business at the end of the day. So I'm a fan. I kind of see an inverse head and shoulders set up here too, I think. Yeah. What the AI thing he says. It sees nothing. It sees bullish and bearish on that time frame. It sees bullish and bearish on that time frame. So yeah, I mean, AMC is going to be another one, big sympathy based off news. So we'll see what happens. I think GME is going to be the make or break for AMC there. So make sure there's no other stocks people are wanting me to look at real quick. I know I did Intel. Seeing one of the guys over on Bullish Ray, the Brownie, shared Google unveiled their quantum computing chip. So that's the other thing y'all need to keep in mind for NVIDIA. I know, like I said before, I'm bullish long term on NVIDIA, but they're not the only, pony in the show at this point, if you want a Texas saying, I guess. But they were on the kind of innovative curve for AI, and their Blackwell chips are the bomb. But ultimately, you're going to have other competing products that come out now that are probably going to be better on a cost basis standpoint to achieve similar goals, even if they won't, if the performance of those new chips from other manufacturers doesn't quite put out the same level of performance as the Blackwell chips. It doesn't matter for a lot of companies, because at the end of the day, it's going to be about how much per cost basis unit am I going to get out of it. So definitely something to keep in mind with the chip stocks. I think that's all the tickers people had asked for. So last second kind of notice update over here on the leverage crypto position for Litecoin. Before we close out, it is currently up 105%. And let's look at the chart to see how that reflects. I'm sorry, 107%. So let's see. Shabam. Keep bouncing, Litecoin. This sucker keeps bouncing and ripping. If it can get back to 120, 182, then that means that my gains on this trade. Where to enter it? Like right in here. I can't math, guys. I've become too dependent on tools. 1,200% gains if it makes that bounce move. I'm staying in it. It's at 114% gain right now. I'm going to ride it out. I'll keep y'all updated. on what happens with that, because that's interesting. But yeah, if anyone wants a referral link or referral code for LBank, happy to share it. I'll put the referral code actually over in the chat for the YouTube. There you go. LBank referral. I can't spell referral code. What is it? It is 3C MOF. There you go. Y'all can go join LBank with that if you want. I don't know if I even get anything out of the referral code, but I know it'll probably help you, because I think you get some kind of percentage of my trades, and y'all know I trade a crap load on LBank, so like maybe you'll get some funding based off that. So take that as you want. Looks like currently up about 115% on that trade. So yeah, I'm gonna ride out for the time being. I might consider a stop loss in case we get one of these big wicked candles that comes into play. Maybe like right in this area, but as of right now, I'm gonna ride it because that's a breakout of downtrend and it's a solid support bounce. So on that note, now we derailed and I'll talk through that as well. And Prakash was asking about AMD competing. So like, yeah, AMD and Intel both you could expect to be kind of in the realm, but I'd also be looking out for some of the smaller competing manufacturers. Like, they all have different focuses and segments nowadays. Like AMD, I think from a graphics design standpoint and from a overall like CPU standpoint, they've typically competed, and I'm sure they'll have some kind of AI model, but they kind of have a different focus market nowadays. So just something to keep in mind. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. If anybody else has anything, let me know. I'll be happy to take a look at it for you tomorrow. But if I don't hear back from anyone, y'all have a great night. Spend time with family. Let's make those gains tomorrow, guys. Later.